Welcome to Coffee with Chris. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm joined today by professional photographer Aaron Alley. Aaron, thank you for your time and welcome.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me here.
Aaron, I love your website. There's so many different avenues that you go to, but I want to ask you what made you pick up the camera and say this is for me?
You know what? That's a fun story because I've had a camera in my hand since the age of two. Um, my dad had an old Canon, well, not old at the time, a Canon AE1 on film, and I actually still own it. It's in my collection. I still shoot with it. I love it. It's what I started shooting on. I I've been essentially shooting my entire life. I have had a camera at some point, either in my early teens and then through high school and college, and I just kept going.
And is there when you talk about cameras and you have this camera since a young age, with the new technology do you prefer the new DSLR stuff that's out there, or are you more of a give me the physical film type of guy?
You know what? I miss the so currently I'm shooting with the new mirrorless system from Nikon, and I love it. I won't go back to a DSLR or necessarily a film camera full time. Uh, Ease of technology these days makes it a lot more convenient than film. Uh, but there's a nostalgia to film, that that shutter winding, that click, that the grain, the feel of it gives you a whole different aspect on the field. It's more of a how do I say this, a skill that you definitely have to learn, versus with some of the newer technology, I can almost hand it to almost anybody these days and get them up and going within 5 or 10 minutes.
Point and click versus looking, like having a different eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we actually let's talk about that for a quick second. We talk about the eye of photography, the eye of art, and all art is subjective, of course. How can you determine if the photo that you've done or the photo shoot that you've done is going to be successful or fulfills that creative niche for you and the customer?
It's always a fun factor on that, right? Because I mean, like you said, art is subjective. It is definitely an opinionated thing. You either like it or you don't like it. Um, and I mean, there's very, very few customers that I've had, ever say to me, you know what, I don't like this shot. They might say, I don't like the way I feel about this shot, but I look really good in it. And I'm like, okay, well, let's work on that. Let's see where we can go with that and how we can, readjust. Uh, but I mean, I've been in the art field since, I was a kid, and I went to school for art and everything. And it's always an opinion. If, at the end of the day, as long as I'm happy with what I produced and the client's happy with what they received, that's kind of the biggest, factor to me in it. It's that, like, you have to be happy with what you've produced at the end of the day. And I can honestly say I've had very few people tell me that they're not happy with what, I've given them.
That's good. Those are good reviews as opposed to, hey, let's try that again. It's, their feelings. And I like what you said. They are opinion where, oh, you should have shot more red stuff or pops of color or anything like this. And you're
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes it might be just hey, you know what? There's this little pimple here that, developed overnight. Can you just make sure that's gone? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Those are the easy fun things to just kind of go, okay, we're good at this.
change my dress from red to blue. That would be great. You're like, well,
Yeah, absolutely.
blue dress. So what is when you look at photography, what is it that you like about it? Do you do people? Do you like to do landscapes? Do you like to do, fruit? If you had to pick one that said, these are my favorite subjects, what would that be?
Well, I don't know if I have a favorite subject. And the reason I say that is because I have shot everything, and I actually am not kidding. I've shot everything from, newborns to funerals. And I absolutely mean that. I have shot newborns and I have shot funerals. Weddings are fun because you get to interact with a fun hype group of
Yeah.
people that are ready to party all day usually. Um, Portrait photography is also one of my strong suits. I like to, make people feel good with, how they look, how they feel, Boudoir is something that I've really tapped into over the last little while. Me and my wife have actually started a separate entity behind us where she is shooting with me most recently, which has actually been a lot of fun.
So, what do you mean? You're shooting boudoir? We're doing lingerie shoots almost. Is that the idea?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily just lingerie. It's our boudoir company is called True Boudoir, and we developed the name based on the fact that we want you to be true to you. Now, lingerie might not be your thing. It might be, you're comfortable in a big baggy sweater or a hockey jersey, or you say, you know what, I have been on this fitness journey and I have lost, my first 30 pounds and I feel great, I look great, and I want to show myself that this is how I am.
Okay.
And some people say, yes, that's a great way. And then they say, you know what, I'm going to come back when I lose the next 10 or the next 20.
So what we're talking about is almost feeling love and accepting and pushing that beautiful feeling of ourselves out there of I look great. I want to have my pictures reflect how I feel in that moment, whether it be sexy, empowering, or uplifting or motivational.
Absolutely. So one of my most recent clients is actually, she has been on a very large fitness journey and she's lost 100 pounds. And she's like, you know what? I had approached her about 6 months ago and I said, hey, do you want to shoot? And she's like, you know what? I'm not sure yet.
Sure.
A couple of shoots later that I've posted and she's seen stuff that we've shot, and she messages me out of the blue and she's like, you know what? I hit the 100. Let's go. I want to do
Wow.
this before Christmas. I'm like, okay. And her husband got a beautiful set of photos that he was absolutely over the hill with.
Now, when we think of boudoir, we think of women and they're doing their poses. You're behind the camera making this empowering pieces. Tell me something that might not be so much common knowledge with boudoir. And it is on your site. I'm kind of hopefully guiding you to it.
You are talking about the doudoir, and that is the male boudoir that I have been working on and have been developing behind the scenes. And it has been a very fun and interesting journey so far with it, where guys didn't think about this until they started seeing some of the samples that I've sent them. And most recently I did a Star Wars themed boudoir doudoir shoot, and he is in this robe that matches the helmet, and it is just, you've got to check it out. If you see it on there, trueboudoir.ca, go and check that out. It is a phenomenal series that I have put together there, and it just, shooting it was more fun than even coming up with the concept for it.
So, but help me walk me through this a bit. When we look at, women are going to say, "Oh, geez, there's the fireman calendar, right?" And they got these six packs and abs. They look great. They're oiled up by the trucks and stuff like that. And then you look at Doudoir on your site, and I was looking at this photo, and I'm like, "Wow, that guy looks like me." And
Yeah,
it really made me feel more comfortable clicking through as opposed to looking at the firefighter going, "Oh, okay."
and this is the whole meaning behind true boudoir. It's true to you, not true to, like, the guy with the six-pack abs that lives in the gym all day. No, I'm cool with the dads that are coming in with the six pack instead of the six pack.
They're built for a party, not for a
Hey,
snack
you know
time.
what?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to bring a keg once in a while, right? But it's having the confidence to, disrobe or not, and come in for one of these shoots is a step in the right direction all on its own, because it's a confidence boost. It is the biggest confidence boost that I can ever give to somebody.
It's such a unique phrasing that you're saying. It's a confidence boost to do boudoir photos, and it's almost like you're looking at them through a different lens, obviously through your camera. But the other parts of that, of course, are that they themselves may have not traditionally felt that that pretty girl thing in the magazine, or the super duper strong guy in the Men's Health, but they're still finding their own version of sexiness, is what I'll say, through these shoots. Would that be about right?
Yeah, that's exactly it, actually. And coming up, I know I have a couple of clients that are one's a musician and he's playing in a Celtic band, so this is going to be a fun shoot all on its own. Um, and I have another gentleman coming in, and he's very active. So this will be it's going to be very two different styles that I'm going to see, but everything is unique, and I tailor my shoots to the individual. I have another client that's lined up, and we're actually going to recreate the centerfolds out of the 1969 series Playboy magazines with the actual vintage series in play. So that'll be a fun little project that's coming up in the near future.
So do you help your clients generate ideas? Like if someone says, "Hey, I want a family photo," you say, "Yeah, high five, we can do that." But if someone calls you up and says, "Aaron, I want to do something weird, fun, crazy, no one's done it before, but I have no idea what that is," will you sit with that client and kind of walk them through and just pitch each other about what could work?
110%. I deal with clients from. I don't just have boudoir clients. I have clients in corporate fields. I have clients, looking for product photography. I have clients that have OnlyFans. I shoot a very wide range, and that's why I say I don't have a necessarily like a favorite thing that I shoot. I love shooting, and it's been a passion and a dream of mine to shoot for as long as I can remember, and I'm glad I get to do it, which is a great thing. My one of my clients, we had just kind of been sitting there spitballing ideas back and forth, and she's like, "Listen, I'm looking for like a back to school kind of shoot, but not the traditional cheerleader thing." And I'm like, what would be funny is if we could get our hands on a mascot costume. And she's like, "I have a mascot costume, like a friend of mine does." And I'm like, "Okay, let's think about this. How can we twist this around?" And sure enough, we had a blast. We had a blast shooting this because we shot in a public park in the middle of the day in this giant mascot costume all over this place. It was wonderful. I couldn't have had a better day on that one.
Now you've been shooting for years. I mean,
Yeah.
is there when you first started out to now, and it seems like you're a lot of it is self-taught. You did go to school, but
Yeah.
a lot of trial and error. Is there something that you wish someone just would have given you a notebook or said, "Hey, Aaron, do this, and it will save you a lifetime of this," or here's this one piece, a key that's the light bulb moment that you wish you had?
Oh, the key that's the light bulb moment. Never stop trying new things. Because when you get into that position of just like shooting the same thing over and over and over again, like I got stuck into product photography for quite a while, and event photography, which they're great to shoot, but product photography, there's no real like fulfilling joy out of it. I'm like, this piece of jewelry looks beautiful now. Here you go. It's for your website.
Right.
Or this cake looks, fantastic. Here you go. Those are great pieces to shoot. They help pay the bills, which is great. But at the end of the day, there's no like reward on it. I don't get to see that client's face of like, "Oh my God, that's not me."
Now, you had mentioned that you could almost get any type of camera nowadays and hand it to someone, and 5-10 minutes they're up and running. Is there any truth to one camera fits all, or should it really be about try all the different cameras that you can to see what you like as a creative person?
You know what? I find a lot of people say, "Oh, I want the biggest and best thing out on the market." Uh, I've got to have the latest gear. I've got to have the latest lens. No, not true. I shot with the same camera for close to 10 years
Okay.
before making the upgrade recently to going into mirrorless. Uh, Sometimes it's quality glass more than anything else, in that sense. But a lot of the cameras these days are pretty similar. Would I say there's one better than the other? No, I find it's always a preference on like, what feels good to you in that sense. But for the most part, I find most of the cameras these days are pretty just like right up there. And phone cameras are coming a long way, but give me a camera with an adjustable lens any day.
Now, you had actually said something there I'm not really familiar with. A mirrorless. What do you mean by a mirrorless camera lens?
Okay, so the lens itself isn't mirrorless, but the camera body itself is. So when there's an internal mirror on the DSLRs and the SLRs that actually moves out of the way to, open up its sensor so that it's capturing your image. Now, mirrorless is actually taking that mirror out of the equation, and it has I believe it's a digital shutter of some kind in there. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me. Uh, that takes that out of the equation, but it's also made a lot of things better in a way. So, for example, shooting behind the scenes photography, I know that you're on set a fair bit. No photographer and no film crew wants to hear that lens slap in the back,
Right.
especially of a quiet scene. So now you can have a mirrorless camera on set and it's completely silent. No beeps, no shutter noises, nothing. And that's why I said that that nostalgia of coming from film, you miss that.
So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the mirrorless piece is this almost shutter that is built inside the camera to get that to capture it. And you're saying now they don't have them, so you have a quieter camera.
Yeah, absolutely. Quieter, less mechanical, so less things to break inside, which is wonderful all on its own, because having a mirror get stuck in your camera is never a fun thing.
I don't think I've ever had that, but I also use toss away cameras and my phone. So when you've taken the photo and you're now uploading it, I'm assuming there's a version of Photoshop that you're using. Is there a program or something that you prefer over another?
I have been in the Adobe family for quite a long time. I mean, I've been using Adobe since it was version 4, and now it's like I don't even know what. But I'm currently using Lightroom for most of my editing, and then I'll go in if there's anything heavy. I'll be using Photoshop on the back end. But for the most part, I don't have to touch Photoshop these days. It's usually Lightroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we Google you, Aaron Alley, photography, aaronalley.ca there, and we get that one site, what can we expect to see on that site?
That's a lot of my like event photography, product photography, portraits, some wedding photography. I don't specialize in weddings, but I still love doing them. Uh, that's mainly for that side, and you'll find some of my boudoir work on there, but the most of my boudoir stuff is now on the trueboudoir.ca site.
And Dudoir too. That's
And yeah,
that's
boudoir.
a new term for me is Dudoir. I might be
Yeah,
calling you.
I think it's a great way to describe it.
Is there is there a project that you've done outside of Boudoir and the Dudoir with the Star Wars helmet that you were just super proud of the most, and just that was the winning moment to keep you going?
um That's a great question. That I don't know if I have one project that's kind of lit the fire, as it were. Um, I have won a couple of competitions with my photography, which is great. There is a particular shot that I had shot at it was a Magic Mike style show,
Okay.
and it was the choreographer for the show. Wonderful girl, Marnie Florence, love her to bits. Was performing with one of the actor or one of the dancers on stage, and I had this one shot that I pulled me as I'm running across stage so that I can catch their final pose at the end of their
Right.
performance, and I nailed it, and that shot has won me at least 2 awards, and I'm super stoked on that that one.
When you look at everything that you've done in these awards, congratulations. Is there
Thank you.
something that you've done where you've just you've turned down the project? Let's say some clients called you and said, "Hey, I want to do this," and you're like, "That's not for me," or "Ooh, no, thanks."
Um, yes, I'm not sure if we want to talk about that one on a
That's
recording of this
entirely up to
nature.
you, to be honest.
I have been offered to go and shoot behind the scenes work for the adult industry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll leave that one as it is. But yeah, I have.
So many more questions now, Aaron. So
I
many.
know, I know. We'll talk about that one off camera.
But for the most part, you'll take on anything as long as it's not
I mean,
super compromising.
I may even take those on these days. Why not? Why you only live once, and you get to experience so many things in life. So why not fill the cup?
So many different ways. If you're talking to the young photographers out there who have entered contests and lost, or are trying all these different Photoshop techniques and cameras, how can you cut through all that clutter and noise to say, just do this as opposed to trying to take on everything?
Take the criticism with a grain of salt. Everyone's going to have an opinion. At the end of the day, if you're happy with what you produce, that's kind of the number one thing. And I mean, if if that's getting you where you need to go, then that's fantastic. Now, if you're getting a lot of opinions and you're not taking them at least a little bit into consideration,
Right.
that might be the thing you want to reflect on. Is you still have to take those opinions and at least analyze them long enough to be like, is this a good idea, or isn't that, or is it a bad idea? Let's make up your own mind on it, but at least don't disregard it.
Okay. And when we talk about the younger generation coming in, are you teaching classes? I mean, your website has a lot of stuff, but if someone says, "Hey, I got this camera for Christmas, I have no idea what I'm doing," can we call you?
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking shop. I really do. And I love teaching people new things, especially if everyone has an opportunity to learn something. I myself included. I will always be willing to at least listen to the veterans out there, because there are other photographers out there that have double my experience, and if I don't listen, at least listen to them and take that in, what are we doing?
No, that's fair. And what's new and exciting? What's coming up on your end that we can look forward to?
Ooh, that's a great question. That's a
Hard
great,
hitting questions on Coffee with Chris.
hard hitting questions, Chris. I didn't expect that one. Let's see what's new and upcoming. The boudoir's really been moving up. I'm hoping to open a self-contained studio soon. Currently, I shoot out of rentals, which is far more fun because you get a whole lot of different places to shoot in that sense, with different atmospheres. So I like scouting locations. It's great. But we are looking at opening up our own studio space soon, so that we have a home base, as it were. And I'm hoping that takes off within the next couple of months.
Now, when you say rentals, it's like rental properties, is what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, like studio rentals, or even location rentals, and other spots like that.
oh, okay. In my mind, for some reason, I was like, oh, you're renting Airbnb and you're gonna shoot in someone's home.
I've done that too. Yep. Yep, absolutely. Usually I clear it with the renter before I go in with that. But yeah. And most of the time they're very receptive.
Nice. Well, I do have one more question for you there. What makes Aaron Alley smile?
What makes Aaron Alley smile? Uh Loud music, fast cars, and good food. That's usually the top three. After that, it's video games, to be honest.
Fair enough. And where can people learn more about it? It's aaronalley.ca.
Yeah, aaronalley.ca, and I think even aaronalley.com. I have both registered, as well as trueboudoir.ca.
And where can we find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, I am aaron.alley, and as well as trueboudoir.ca on Instagram.
Fabulous. That's all the time I have for you, Aaron. I really appreciate you coming in. This has been Coffee with Chris. Make sure you check out Aaron Alley, aaronalley.ca, Doudoir photos. I think we can surprise a lot of people with some really neat Doudoir. No fireman calendars anymore, guys. Watch out for these dad bods coming your way, Aaron. Have a fantastic day, everybody, and smile to inspire.